Former President Bill Clinton's interview with our own Craig Melvin still making big waves this morning. Mr. Clinton's response to questions about Monica Lewinsky and whether he owes her a private apology drawing immediate backlash. Well, last night, Bill Clinton tried to do a little cleanup in aisle 7. Craig Melvin has the latest.
Overnight, Bill Clinton apologizing again.
I meant it then and I meant it now. I apologize to my family, to Monica Lewinsky and her family, and to the American people.
His new public apology coming hours after facing questions here on Today about his handling of the Monica Lewinsky scandal in the late 90s. Do you feel like you owe her an apology?
No, I do. I do not. I've never talked to her, but I did say publicly on more than one occasion that I was sorry.
The former president voicing support for the Me Too movement, but facing sharp criticism for his comments during the Today interview.
Nobody believes that I got out of that for free. I left the White House $16 million in debt.
Some allies, including former Clinton spokesman Joe Lockhart, took issue with the former president's focus.
I think in that interview, he succumbed to being the victim and feeling victimized.
Social media erupting. One user writing, Bill Clinton still refuses to take responsibility for what he did to Monica Lewinsky. Lewinsky herself did not comment directly, simply tweeting, she's grateful to the myriad people who have helped me evolve and gain perspective in the past 20 years, and linking to a Vanity Fair piece she wrote in March discussing her consensual affair that reads in part, now at 44, I'm just beginning to consider the implications of the power differentials that were so vast between a president and a White House intern. Now, she's being supported by other Me Too activists. Actress Rose McGowan tweeting at Clinton in part, a human life was altered and destroyed due to your selfishness. Prior to his overnight comments, she and others demanded Clinton apologize, something the president never did privately but did do publicly back in 1998 and again last night.
I meant it then, and I mean it today. I live with it all the time.
Okay, so please welcome NBC's Craig Melvin, co-host of PBS's and principal as well, Amy Holmes, and former Assistant U.S. Attorney Dan Goldman, all of whom here with me today. Made a little news there, Craig.
Well, I just sat and asked some questions.
Yeah, that's right. And the responses were, oh, poor me. Poor me. I was $16 million in debt because he's $16 million in debt because he was accused, he lied under oath about whether he did or he didn't do it, and that's why he got impeached. I mean, can I just ask you, first of all, Amy, because we talked about this yesterday.
Yes.
Did he fix it by coming out and saying what he said? And he's saying, the suggestion on NBC was that I never apologized. Well, I did. And I admit it then, I admit it now. I apologize. I apologize to Lewinsky. Craig's whole line of questioning was, did you personally apologize?
Right. He tried. You can say that, and I think your nickname should be Bombs Away. I mean, those questions
Bombs Away,
the
Melvin.
target, they were great. You know, I made the point yesterday that if you treat someone badly in a relationship, posting a general apology on Facebook doesn't cut it.
No.
Okay? You need to contact that person personally, and I think every adult knows this, right? I mean, that is your responsibility. And in your interview, President Clinton, he didn't want to admit that.
Yeah, that was very clear. And the thing is, like, he and James Patterson, who's now partnered on books with Bill O'Reilly and now Bill Clinton, he interrupts to say, what about LBJ? What about JFK? Okay, they were rumored adulterers, but the truth is, Dan, they were not accused felons. I mean, they weren't accused felonious liars.
Right. I mean, let's remember what ultimately got Bill Clinton in trouble is not that he had an affair with Monica Lewinsky, but that he lied about it under oath.
Under oath.
And so that ultimately led to the impeachment process and to all of more of his trouble, so to speak.
That's why he got so in debt. All
Absolutely.
the lawyers should defend him for doing that.
He wasn't the only person who got in debt because of this. Betty Curry, his secretary, she racked up huge legal bills.
But what about Monica Lewinsky's life?
Right.
That affair ruined her life. And I have to say, Monica Lewinsky has handled herself with grace and dignity in the years since. She hasn't tried. In the beginning, she did some black and white movie thing, but she's not been out there repeatedly capitalizing on this. I'm sure she feels ashamed about, her role in it. When I see her talk about it, she seems to still be wrestling with the pain of it.
But think about something else. She's become an adult now, and she was really almost a child when she was an intern. And that's a lot what this Me Too movement is about. You see these powerful men taking advantage of very young women who don't quite understand it. Now Monica Lewinsky, 20 years later, has a lot more grace, maturity. She understands the perspective that she didn't have then.
Exactly. He was the most powerful man in the world. Okay, and speaking of the most powerful man in the world, today it's President Trump. And he is making news, you'll be shocked to learn, because he's booted out the Philadelphia Eagles from coming to the White House for a celebration of the, I gather they were the Super Bowl champs.
They were.
Okay, so he said don't come.
Yeah.
And the White House is claiming it's because of the kneeling controversy. He tweeted out, the Philadelphia Eagles football team was invited to the White House. Unfortunately, only a small number of players decided to come. And we canceled the event. Staying in the locker room for the playing of our national anthem is as disrespectful to the country as kneeling. Sorry. Well, I mean, did he cancel them because of the kneeling or because nobody wanted to come?
Because he was throwing a party and no one was going to come. That's why. I mean, we know exactly
The
why.
reality is that none of the Eagles players actually kneeled during the season. None of them were in the locker room. There was not a single player on that team that protested. There's this picture that's out there of their tight ends, a guy named Zach Ertz. He's very popular in Philadelphia. I know you're a huge fan. There's a Philly fan.
Go Eagles. My husband loves the Eagles.
So there's this picture of Zach Ertz kneeling, and this picture's been tweeted around over the last 24 hours. And Zach finally said, "I was praying. I wasn't protesting." So, but I think that the president has realized that politically, this is a winning issue for him. I mean, there are a lot of folks that side with the president on this.
That's true, but he can't turn every protest vote into this issue. If the NFL players from the Eagles didn't want to go because they don't love President Trump or whatever, and he thinks no one's coming to the party, you can't blame it on the national anthem if they weren't kneelers.
Right, but Megyn, we've seen him do this before to Kim Jong-un. Do you remember? He disinvited him before I disinvited you.
Yeah,
But I think this
right.
is going to stick. I don't think he's going to change his mind on this.
You can't fire me, I quit. Okay, we have got to get to the latest in, I don't know. To me, it's a debate over whether sexiness can be feminist or a feminist can be
That's
sexy.
a good way to frame the debate.
Right? Today, we have two Victoria's Secrets models speaking out, defending their role as Victoria's Secrets models, and the catwalk, the famous catwalk, saying...
I don't know what you're talking about.
You've never seen it, I know. You only look at your wife, ever. So they're saying, look, I do find it empowering. I think being sexy has a place in even 2018 America, in the Me Too movement. And at the same time, you had the Miss America pageant coming out today to saying they are now getting rid of the swimsuit competition.
Meaning they're going to lose their viewers.
Their last two. Right. Their last two viewers are now going to stop watching. I mean, let's face it, it hasn't been a popular thing for a lot of years. But they're saying they're going to get rid of the swimsuit competition. They're going to revamp the evening gown competition. Now you can wear whatever you want. You can go out there in your house robe, wearing your Grandma Moses.
You probably won't win.
And what they say is, we're now interested only in your social impact initiatives. I mean, the question is, who wants to watch that?
And then what is the definition of a pageant? And
she says it's no longer a pageant. Now it's a
no longer
competition.
Okay.
Well, but for years they've maintained that it wasn't a pageant; it was a scholarship competition.
Okay.
That's what they.
Right, but getting to like the Victoria's Secret model thing, can you be feminist and sexy? Of course you can. I mean, I'm not really Victoria's Secret's demographic for that fashion show. I'm twice their age and twice their size. But I admire their commitment to diet and fitness and dating Leonardo DiCaprio. I think all of that's great.
Are you diminishing the Victoria's Secret's?
No, I'm diminishing
She's
Leonardo
admiring
DiCaprio.
Okay.
No, I have to say, I think
It doesn't take anything
it's
away
okay.
from me for other women to be beautiful.
Me neither, or to be sexy. I love that they embrace that piece of themselves, and I think we trying to make women choose between being sexy and strong or sexy and smart are doing them a disservice.
And Dan agrees.
Dan better.
How can I say no to this audience? No, there's a critical difference between women choosing to do something on their own and being coerced or forced into doing something. And that's the big difference between the Victoria's Secret models who are choosing this as their path in their career and they feel good about it.
And the Miss America contestants.
Perhaps, yes. And the Me Too movement, on the other hand, where women are forced to do things that they may not otherwise want to do.
I don't know why they can't just leave the swimsuit as the evening gown is and say, like, well, I would go out there in my Victorian lady costume that, I wear to the beach. I'm covered from the neck to the wrinkle.
You're taking
I
a
love
little
the
different spin on Victoria.
Exactly.
But there's another angle, I think, that is the feminist critique, that these representations of beauty are coercive of young girls, that they feel that this is an unrealistic expectation. But I would say in this day and age, we have a lot of representation of different types of beauty, particularly with the internet. And at the same time, is that really how we want to encourage girls to think about themselves, just about their physical appearance at all?
And the
How about being good at
attraction,
math?
the
Being good
attraction
at-
to
right.
sexiness and
Right.
to good-looking people. There have been all sorts of studies on this. Like babies in the cradle look more attractive faces than faces that are not conventionally attractive. We're not going to be able to erase this from society by no longer highlighting what have been considered conventionally attractive
But we can.
women or bodies.
Right.
We
But
can add to the panoply of choice, to the panoply
Exactly.
of
I
what's
love
presented.
that you're using panoply at 9, 10 in the morning. I love that. I do think that there is a tendency in our society, and we've seen it time and time again, we overcorrect. The pendulum swings one way, and we all recognize that it's gone too far this way. And instead of coming back to the middle, the pendulum swings all the way back to the other side.
That's right.
Look at our political system.
That's exactly right. And I think if Amy Holmes wants to go out there and say, okay, maybe I'm not the same size as these other women.
I'm not wearing my underwear in public like that.
But so let's say you went out there in whatever bathing suit you wanted to wear, and then you went over to that interview competition and you rocked it.
Right.
It was like, then
Okay. Well,
I
thank
think we
you.
could make a smart choice
Right.
and say, I don't need my Miss America or my Victoria's Secret model to be like a toothpick.
Right.
I can admire another shape, another size,
Right.
and leave feeling like, yes, while I still admire the thin, the
But
whatever it is.
But what I would say is that I think we also just need to cultivate our inner values and our inner talents. If you're good at math, if you want to build a rocket ship, if you're a great musician or an athlete, there are other things that girls can aspire to than walking down a runway.
But nobody wants to watch a woman standing up there doing trigonometry. I mean, it's fine. It's great if you can do it, but it's just not going to rate as a broadcast perspective. That's my prediction. But God bless all of them. So we wish all of them luck, the existing contestants, the old ones, the new ones, all of it. Great to see you guys.
Good to see you.
We'll be right back.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.